So I was in Singapore in 2019 at the airport, and the airport attaches to this huge mall. And so I came across this very interesting store called Action City. And so they advertised Bearbrick by Medicom Toys. And so this is a Bearbrick, and it has a basic design. Looks a little like a Lego, like a huge Lego. You can't really see the size here, but they come in various sizes, and I'll show later. But they all have the same basic form. Okay, and so here's one of Tokyo Tower, printed on the Bearbrick. There's Batman, classic Batman. Looks like maybe Man of Steel, Superman, classic Batman, Batman, Joker. The store was just filled with these Bearbricks. There's a nice little display there. Then we have characters, licenses I don't recognize. I don't know if they're maybe just Bearbrick characters or Japanese characters or something. And you could see that if the character doesn't actually have ears, then they just make them translucent. Or if they have something that isn't bear-like, then they'll just make part of it translucent. And then we have pretty recognizable licenses. We have Minions, Peanuts, Sesame Street, Care Bears, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You can see we have much smaller versions. I'll get into that in a little bit. And some prices down there, $220, $160 for Care Bear. So they're pretty expensive, actually, for these figures. And they are available on Big Bad Toy Store. Now, this is actually the second time I produced this video, and I did not release the first one because I went into this kind of ignorant. And so I actually did a little bit more research on this, and apparently it's been around a long time. These are not new at all. So they go way back beyond 2019, and apparently a lot of celebrities and wealthy people advertise these, or at least they do like endorsements, and they have their own and they collect them. It's like Funko for people with a whole lot more money than the average Funko collector. Because you could see here the prices for these: $600, $675, another $600. We got okay, so that's Hush, Superman. So these are all the current ones. Those other photos I was showing, those were from 2019, and that was just a sampling of what I saw in the store. Now you have here 1,000%. And so 1,000% is basically what the size is compared to the smallest size. These are 27.5 inches made of plastic. And I did have some questions about, were these solid plastic? Were they hollow plastic? And in the video I saw, and I'll put the link to that video that I saw. I saw children holding these, and they were huge, absolutely huge. So they're over 2 feet, but boy, they look big when they were being held. And they look quite light, so I'm assuming these are hollow plastic. So these would be what they call art toys, which is they are not toys intended to be played with. They're toys intended to be put on a shelf and displayed. And so they're a little bit different from the figures that I have, because even though the figures I have, I don't believe are generally intended to be played with. In fact, the Mezco figures will tell you that they're for adults. They're not meant to be played with. But they're a little bit different in that they're very articulated, and this is kind of the midway between, say, statues and the figures like I have, in that you could see here, now I'm making some assumptions, I've never held one of these, but it looks like it's got a minimum of 4 points of articulation. I assume that it's got articulation here at the hips. I assume the arms will rotate. Maybe the waist rotates. I don't know. Maybe the wrists. It doesn't talk about that at all. So it just says made of plastic. There is no mention of articulation. I mean, is it possible that they don't move at all? It's possible. I don't know. I'd have to do more research on that, but it only shows the front and the back of each one of these. Now, this one is $600, marked down from $840. So this is when you get into, I think, with these, because I think also the difference between the figures that I collect and these art toys is I get the impression this is really more of a speculative market, that people are actually buying these as investments. And so I have no idea. I know that in the video it mentioned, I think, one figure that was worth $156,000 or something like that. Is that common? I'm sure that may be the highest. I don't know. But it's entirely possible that you could go out and buy a whole bunch of money in art toys and only realize a profit in a small amount of them. I don't know. I don't know what the market is for art toys, but there are a lot of different kinds of art toys. And I think I would even put the one that I'd mentioned in an earlier video, which is Astrolad, I would put that in the category of art toys. And I never bought those with any intention of having them appreciate in value. I got them because I liked them. So that's the 1,000%. And then we get down to, let's see, we have 100 and 400%. So the 400%, so these are $170. So the price goes down. The 400% is 11 inches, and then the 100% is 2.75 inches. And so, like I said, this is like Funko if you got a whole lot of money. Because if you had $800 and you went out to buy Funkos, you could buy a shopping cart full of Funkos for one of these figures. I can't imagine ever myself investing in them the price for what you get, an all plastic figure, I don't really see a reason. It's interesting, but do I want a Batman figure in the shape of a bear? Not really. It's not for me. But for other people, I could see that, but you really would have to have a lot of room, a lot of space. I've got a good size house, and these things, particularly the 1,000% ones, I saw them, and they're big. And so put it on the shelf. You probably are going to save the box. So I think this is for people with a lot of money, and people who are going all in on this, and people who are thinking that somewhere down the road, they're going to maybe sell these at a profit. Whether they will or not, I have no idea. But it is an interesting. I'm interested in the concept of I do have some other art toys that I'm going to show later, but not my. It's definitely not something I collect a lot, but it's something I'm more. It's kind of like the statues that I'm going to actually talk about in another video. It's fascinating to me, but it's not something I'm really into. So anyway, that is Medicom Toys and their Brick Bear line. Bearbrick, sorry.